How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan battle video. In today's video, we have the ultimate team building guide for the brand new LR Fizz PIKKON. So in this video, we're going to take a look at his kit, his links, and his best partners, and decide how to build the best team around this guy. So let's go ahead and let's kick things off by taking a look at what he's doing. So while in base form, this guy has key 3, attack and defense 250%, with a 50% chance of evading enemies' attack. He randomly changes key spheres of a certain type to rainbow. He gives all allies key 3 and attack defense 40% support for when you have other world warriors or tournament participants attacking in the same turn. As the second attacker in the turn, he does get an he does give an additional 10% damage reduction to other world warriors or tournament participants, but it is only for one turn. And as the second or third attacker in the turn, he guards all attacks, high chance of performing a critical hit, launches an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack, and has a additional 20% chance of evading enemy's attack. So that is, while in the second or third slot, he has a 70% chance to evade. He also has an additional attack and defense 150% when attacking with 18 or more key. Now, after the fourth turn, he can get serious, and once he has an additional key 5, attack and defense 300%. He has guard. He has a great chance of evading enemy's attack. That's a 70% chance, 70% chance to crit, and gets an additional 2 key per rainbow key. He also randomly changes key spheres of a certain type to rainbow key spheres. Then, before receiving an attack, he has an additional key 3 and an additional 10%. So that is 80% chance to dodge. When attacking, he has attack and defense 50%. When attacking with 12 or more key, he gets 70% attack and defense. 18 or more gets 100% attack and defense. And with 24 key, he gets 150% attack and defense. Now, that is additive, so that means as long as you get the 24 key, all other buffs are applied. He also has attack guaranteed to hit, so bosses can't dodge it. He also gets an additional 30% up to 150% for every rainbow key sphere obtained, with the chance of performing a critical hit 10% for every rainbow key sphere obtained. So after 3 rainbow key spheres, he's going to have guaranteed crit because of that 70%. So the question is, well, how do you build him? Well, the best thing to do when looking about how to build a team around him is to look at his link set, right? He's got Supreme Warrior, Experienced Fighters, Shocking Speed, Cold Judgment, Other World Warriors, and Fierce Battle, which makes him he's got some decent links, but he's also got some very specific links that are really that really make or break the difference in his viability. So if we want to hop on over here real quick to the Dokkan FYI, we can see here that, some of his best link partners are, of course, himself, which you're really not going to have unless you're running him as a double lead. And even then, right, your other one is probably untransformed in the third slot. So like you'll transform one into Sirius and then transform the other into and leave the other untransformed to continue to activate the links. Otherwise, right, he's got 5 links with Hit and God Goku and Nail, who Nail can kind of work on the team if you're bringing along the new Tech Gohan, but otherwise his best link partners are pretty much any of these characters here, who are all, decent options, right? AGL Jiren, especially in standby, still has some use. Goku and Frieza with 4 links, good option. Tech Gogeta, great option. And the Broly trio can still have their uses. Otherwise, he has, right, the years with 3 links, which often can be all that you need, right? He's got the year 7s, he's got Gohan, he's got Frieza, he's got the year 10s in their base forms, right? Glorio, all great options that can link with him. So, right, any of these 3 link options in base form, you could definitely use. And that's because, in base form, he has the issue of sharing the same name as a PIKKON. But once he goes ahead and gets serious, all right, let's switch that transformation up over here, right? Once he gets serious, his best link partner, once again, is himself, or with 6 links, he can activate the the AGL can activate his best links, right? With the AGL, he can activate Supreme Warrior, Experienced Fighters, Shocking Speed, Cold Judgment, Otherworld Warriors, Fierce Battle, which gives him in total, right, an extra 10%, 15%, 35%, right? An extra, what is that, 20%, so 55%, an extra 75% attack, right? So being able to link with the AGL Paikon makes a huge difference from him. He is his best partner, and honestly who you should be pushing forward to get when you're trying to do your team setup. So let's come on ahead, now that we kind of understand who his best link partners are, let's go ahead and let's transition back into game here, and let's take a look at how to build the team around him. So we're going to build a team around his leader skill. So Otherworld Warriors and Saviors. So Otherworld Warriors and Saviors, right? Since those are the two categories. And that's because, honestly, he doesn't have any 220% leads currently. So you're either running his 200% lead or you're running him under somebody's 170, which is not necessarily a bad thing, and I'm going to show you some of the teams that he can run very well under a 170. So, all right, we've already discussed that, best link partner. So if you're going to start with your core, right, the core of his team is going to be him and a partner, and that partner, of course, is AGL Paikon, right? So that's your core. You have to decide how you're going to play this. AGL Paikon can work well as a floater, and then you can use, or you can risk it and put him slot 1. He's got, if he has his, if you're getting his key spheres, right, he has, as long as you're getting the rainbow key spheres, he's going to have 50%, 70% chance to evade. So if you want to risk that in slot 1, you absolutely could, or you can put a more viable slot 1 option for him, especially in some of these longer fights. Someone like the Gogeta or the Vegito, both of them fit on his lead. There's absolutely no reason not to run them. Honestly, what I would run is these would be my core. I would have one rotation of Paikon and the other rotation of the Gogeta and Vegito, right? If you want to talk about a powerful team, this is it right here. You could also do things like float the Gogeta and partner AGL Goku up with someone you could partner the Vegito up with someone like Namek Goku. You could do that and keep the Gogeta as a floater. That's an option. But personally, I like to just keep them together unless I'm specifically going to try to juice Paikon up. When linked with AGL Paikon, though, that's for, he's getting 50% support, which makes it pretty good. Plus, you'll have the other Paikon who is floating support as well. So this could actually make for a really good core team. The defenses on the Goku and the Vegeta really start to kick in on turn 3, which for most fights, that's going to work out. So this team is definitely going to work out, with the way we're setting it up, it's definitely going to work out better in red zone, right? Because you'll get to that point where you can start swapping back and forth the Goku and Vegeta for their defense, right? Whichever one you need to put in slot 1 can go there, and so forth. Now, I always like to bring SCR Gogeta as a floater. He is a great floating support option. Pretty much all the major red zones he can survive that have AoEs. He can survive the AoEs with his Rainbow Key Spheres in slot 3. Even just 1 is more than enough for him to be able to tank and do well enough. So that, honestly, like this right here alone is a really, really good setup. This team will get you through just about every fight in the red zone meta. You could honestly probably get away with it too if you could honestly probably get away with it too in certain Battle Hardened Formidable Foe states. Although if I was running Battle Hardened Formidable Foes, I would probably run double this guy for the double Usher. But the rest of the team would essentially remain the same. You would just have double Paikon lead. Now, as far as your last unit for this one, right, there's any number of pretty much any floating option is good. Gotenks is a good floating option for the team. If you need a quick, it's kind of hard to utilize him well nowadays, but if you needed that nuke from him, he's a good floating option. Battle hardened formidable foes. This guy would make a great third final option for the team. Another great option is the Tech Gogeta, right? These are all good setups for PIKKON'S team, and will carry you through any major event, right? It keeps links up on everybody and keeps support up on everybody. Now, the Tech Gogeta here would be a floater, so I don't know that I would necessarily always use him. In fact, I typically know if I'm going to have a character as a floater, they're going to be my support type units, but I mean, Otherworld Warriors Saviors doesn't have too many options of that, so you know, you can just put someone in to fill, like actually Hercule could work, right? Because a few of these guys are on Saviors as well. So, and Earth Protecting Heroes, right? Now he won't be supporting PIKKON, but he would help. Options, right? That's what you're looking for. Your 7th slot is not typically the one you're worried most about. They are ones who are just kind of there to fill out the team. It could be a powerful hitting unit that you can keep in the 3rd slot, or it can be somebody to support. Remember, on this setup, you're going to have a floating support PIKKON. Your 2nd PIKKON will remain untransformed. But either way, this is gonna work, right? This is going to be a very viable team that maximizes almost everyone's links on the team. But it's not necessarily his best team. I did set up a few teams here that I wanted to take a moment to show you guys. So, of course, we have the team here that I'm showing you with the Go Tanks under his lead. He does work really well on Cell's team, utilizing the domain. He can actually get some pretty powerful hits in, especially if you keep him and PIKKON together under that domain with some floating support. So it's, you know, he's honestly pretty good there. But, I mean, the more you add to Cell's team that don't help Cell, the harder it is to use Cell. Like, this would pretty much mean that you have a rotation of SCR Cell and AGL Cell, and then your other rotation would be the 2 PIKKON'S. But that leaves someone like, you know, that leaves your 3rd slots open on that setup, which, you know, isn't necessarily a bad thing, but there aren't too many options, right? So, you know, whoever else you would put on the team. So for this example, I use AGL UI because he could just make a quick, easy 3rd slot floater that can quickly go slot 1 if you need him to. And the STR, Goku, and Gohan, they work really well on his team as well. Now, what I have found after some testing is that Glorio's team is actually incredibly good for him. Like, especially if you really want to juice up PIKKON, right? Glorio's team does really good, especially because you can add in a UI Goku's domain combined with the SA effect of the Super Saiyan 4 Goku. It allows PIKKON, like, on the appropriate setup, if you manage to get him with the Gogeta turn, right? We're talking over 100 mil on PIKKON when you get AGL Gogeta out. So I find that Glorio's team still is very viable, and you're noticing this, right? A lot of his teams, he's only on the 170, right? On Glorio here, because the additional is Dragon Ball Seekers, he's only on the 170, and he's hitting 130 mil on the right setup on that team, right? That's just how powerful Glorio's support and everything that's going on that team. On Cell's team, also on the 170, because I don't think this one is on Accelerated Battle, right? Only the AGL is. Yes, he's not on Accelerated Battle, so he's only on the 170 for him, and he still works very well, right? That's just how well designed this character is. But these are definitely some options. Of course, there are plenty of other options, but given the current leads, the current viable leads, you're probably going to be wanting to build teams similarly around this. So, guys, that is it for our video. That is how to build a team around the LR Fizz PIKKON. I do like his team. You know, you wouldn't think Otherworld Warriors and Saviors as a combo would be that good given the history of the category, but it's actually a really good category now. So that is it for the video, guys. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let us know, how have you built your teams around PIKKON? What are the setups you're using for him? Let us know in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.